Hi folks, my name's Steve Greer and I'll be your instructor for this course. Just wanted to take a brief moment and show you how the Brightspace works. So when you log on to Brightspace and select my course, you'll see an opening screen much like this. We'll go to the content page. On the content page you'll see the course outline and all the classes. I'll get back to the course outline in a moment. Let me just take you through each class, or not each class, but how each class is set up. So each class begins on a specific date, and that's on a Monday. And what you'll see here is that you have a video lesson and a to-do list. And so you can click on this, and I go through the PowerPoint with you, and I kind of do the teaching there. And you can have access to that PowerPoint here. You've got an assignment, a weekly assignment that's in the Dropbox section. I'll show that in a moment. And then you're going to have practice homework sheets as well as learning targets. And so if we go back to class 1, I'll show you those learning targets and the assignment. The learning targets are right here. And so if you click on these are exactly what you're supposed to learn in that lesson. You can do that in a variety of ways. You can do that with a PowerPoint, you can do that with a video, or you can do that with the workbook. What you're going to do is you're going to show me that you've met these learning targets by posting to our discussion pages. When you go on your discussion page, you'll see Learning Targets Class 1. You'll post up an attachment, or maybe you'll type it out. I think it'll probably be an attachment. And you'll show me that you know how to answer, or you'll know what that learning target looks like by writing your own question that relates to that learning target. So for instance, if the first learning target was, I'll just make something up here, write 3 consecutive letters in the alphabet, you could say, what is the 14th, 15th, and 16th letters of the alphabet? And then one of your classmates is going to answer that question to show that they've met that learning target. And you will answer somebody else's questions. So you're going to post up questions and then answer somebody else's questions to show that you've met these learning targets. And those learning targets happen for each week. And so you see the learning targets there. The assignment is on, as I said before, Dropbox. And so you click on this, and you can you'll be able to upload a picture of your work, and I'll mark that, and you'll see your grade, and I'll put some feedback in that as well. Here's where the workbook unit is. So you can click on this, and it'll bring you to some other examples and some. It's basically a textbook that I've written to go along with the videos and things like that. And each class has their own workbook section. Down here, just some practice questions. Okay, if you're looking for examples, practice questions to do and their answers, I've got some for each class. Okay, so that's basically how each of the classes run. You're basically going to learn the material here in your lesson or your workbook section. And then you're going to make sure you've understood the material by writing 2 questions, writing questions that go along with 2 learning targets, and then you're going to answer somebody else's questions, and then you'll do the assignment that's due the next Monday. So let's go back and take a look at the course outline. Oops. Oh, here. So the course outline's right here, and what we have is all of our topics. Class 12 is the final, and that final is worth 40%. The midterms worth 25%. As you see here, we have participation in the weekly Blackboard sessions. Now those sessions, basically 1 point per class. On a Monday night at 8:30, you're going to log into the Blackboard. You'll be able to interact with me by asking me questions, and I'll answer them. And that way you can get help with your assignment that's due that evening, or you can get some clarification on a topic. If you can't make one of those sessions, as it says down here, then you're going to have to write in the discussion page, write a question to make sure that you get your grade, okay, for that class. So can't make a Blackboard session, ask me a question here. So if you can't make question class 3, for instance, you can type up a question there, and I'll respond to it during that time. The other thing that I want to highlight here is that your learning targets are worth 10%. So again, that's basically 1 point. I think that's a really easy point to get. You're going to, as it says right here, you're going to create a problem that shows you've hit these learning targets for that should say for the class. I'll change that. You'll create a problem for each of the learning targets. Okay, and then you post them by Thursday at 6, and then on the weekend you're supposed to go to somebody else's post and say, oh, okay, I can answer that question, and let me write this out. And you are required to create and post 2 solutions each week. Okay, and that's worth 10%, and then your assignments are worth 15. So it should be pretty straightforward. It's really important that you make sure you're online. I can check to see how often you've been online and things like that. If you're having issues, connectivity, math related, whatever the case may be, please email me. You can see my emails right here, and I'll respond to you within probably 24 hours. With an online course, and it's great that you can use this at your own pace, but it means that sometimes I get questions at 11 o'clock at night. I won't get to that until probably the next evening. So just be aware of that and have a little patience, I guess. And so if you have any questions or concerns, that's the best spot to get me. Remember that your discussions here, these don't show up on your timelines. So every class you're to go in and you're to start a thread here and saying, this is my class 1 learning targets. To start that off, why don't we introduce ourselves in the introduction page, or topic, I should say, and just kind of tell me what you're interested in. Do you have a family? Are you just out of high school? Are you returning to school? Give me a little bit about yourself so that your classmates and myself can get to know you, and I'll do the same thing. So I wish you all the best. We won't have a Blackboard session on the first day of class because there's nothing to discuss. But I'll see you on next Monday. I guess that would be January 15th at 8:30 to 9:30. All right, take care. We'll see you then.